We welcome you back to CBS Mornings. We want to share a CBS News investigation into what it is literally a life or death situation for many Americans. More than 100,000 people in this country are waiting for an organ transplant right now. Think about that for a second. But only slightly more than half that number are expected to receive an organ within 5 years. Now we've got exclusive details from a she's trying to say, from a congressional investigation that's raising some very serious questions about whether groups meant to make those donations happen are really doing enough. Our consumer investigative reporter, Anna Werner, also spoke to a woman whose life is in the balance.
It's a daily battle.
This is what dominates LaQuaya Goldring's life. 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, sitting hooked up to a machine for home dialysis. It's the only way to clean her blood while she waits for a kidney transplant to keep her alive.
I only have one shot at a transplant. And until I get that call, my life is dependent upon a machine. A lot of dialysis patients are sitting around like me, just wondering, when will we get the call?
She's been waiting for 7 years.
And I feel like the longer that I wait, the closer I am to death.
Patients like Goldring rely on nonprofit groups that secure organs for transplants from deceased donors. They're called organ procurement organizations, or OPOs. But a House subcommittee investigating the organ donation and transplant system in the U.S. says OPOs are failing to secure many organs that could be recovered. Subcommittee Chair, Representative Raja Krishnamurthy.
17 to 20 people a day die on the wait list because they can't get organs, and the OPOs are just not recovering enough organs and making sure they're getting into people who need them.
In August, the Senate Finance Committee said its 2.5-year investigation found from the top down the U.S. transplant network is not working, putting Americans' lives at risk. And now in a letter sent to OPOs yesterday, the House subcommittee is raising questions about whether data provided by OPOs may be inaccurate and incomplete.
If you don't have proper data, then you don't know what organs exist and are usable to go into people who need them.
Several OPOs told us in response their data is accurate and they're committed to saving lives. The United Network for Organ Sharing, UNOS, said its systems are audited annually. And UNOS's Dr. Matt Cooper, the board president at the time, told us in May,
the data clearly demonstrates that year over year, our transplant system continues to be more and more successful.
But not everyone in the system agrees. Matt Wadsworth heads one of those OPOs in Ohio.
Do you believe that many of the OPOs nationwide are failing?
Absolutely.
He's the chief executive of OPO Life Connection in Dayton. In his first 2 years there, he says his organization doubled the number of organ donors in his region, which meant many more lives saved. At the House subcommittee's hearing in 2021, Wadsworth told members of Congress other OPOs should be doing better too.
OPOs are grossly inefficient and unaccountable.
Unaccountable, he says, because before this year, when the government changed the way OPOs are evaluated, some OPOs were able to make their numbers look better than they actually were.
So you're the head of an OPO and you're saying, yeah, a lot of these guys were manipulating their data.
Yeah.
And when they manipulated the data, what did it make it look like?
That they were going after every opportunity, every time. They were converting every possible patient to be a successful organ donor. And it's not the truth. And they're the same bad players. If you look at the data, it's the same people low performing year after year.
The Association of Organ Procurement Organizations says its members are doing a good job, that in the last 5 years, OPOs have increased the number of deceased organ donors by 35%. But it agreed that improvements are necessary to advance care for patients like LaQuaya Goldring.
It's heartbreaking. It truly brings tears to my eyes because I'm like, that's more patients that are going to die or more patients that are going to be stuck waiting on that list.
Something that even this OPO director became so emotional about during our interview, he had to leave for a moment to compose himself.
Well, why does that make you so emotional?
Because there's people dying. You know?
Yes.
Wow.
Goodness, new regulations passed during the Trump administration set new standards for OPOs and a process to decertify them if they're below par, but that won't happen until 2026. The emotion that he showed at the end, number one, you can't fake that. It shows that he deeply cares, and also says, seems to be a big problem there.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about people's lives. I mean,
Exactly.
that's bottom line. Life or death. Yeah,
Exactly.
it really is. All right,
Thank
coming
you,
up.
Anna Werner.
Yeah,
Once
thank
again,
you,
Anna
indeed.
Werner on the case.